Yo, what's good, y'all? This is St. Justinian. I'm your host for Culture Soldiers, and I'm here with my co-host, King. What's up, King?
Man, I'm cooling.
Yo, man, that's what's up, man.
I'm excited. I'm looking forward to, what we got on the show.
Definitely, man. I'm excited, too. This is our first episode for our show, Culture Soldiers, man. And, due to the fact that this is our first episode, I want to, take the time to really explain, what is Culture Soldiers? What is a culture soldier? You know what I mean? Those are the warriors that's on the front line, man, pushing the culture, and elevating the culture of hip hop, getting it to the point where it's at now. Right. You know what I mean? And there's so many culture soldiers, there's so many warriors, that actually have been putting in the work. It's 50 years of hip hop, man, and this thing has gone through so many different changes that have gone through a lot, you know what I mean? And, they have a term out there, culture vulture, right? And, that's everything in life. There's always someone or something there to try to, be negative towards anything that you may have going on. But, culture soldiers for hip hop, those are the ones that, we focusing on the positivity.
Right.
You know what I mean? And again, it's so many of them. But, what you think about that? Like, what's your thoughts?
I mean, yeah, I think for me, I really enjoy the fact that the focus is not negativity, but rather positivity.
Right.
Which, is hip hop. When you go back to the foundation of hip hop, we're always going to speak about the things in our culture that either need to be addressed, fixed, or positivity. So, I think that it is a good thing to not put the focus on negativity because there is a lot of it.
Right.
There's a lot of negativity
right.
on the internet, on social media, on different platforms that specifically target negativity.
Right.
So it is good, and it is a breath of fresh air that you get to, breathe in when you see a show like, Culture Soldiers.
Yeah, definitely, man. And we're starting out with Culture Soldiers. Our first episode, we had to go there, man, and talk about LL Cool J, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
There's a lot to talk about with LL Cool J.
It's a lot. It's a lot, man. You talking about decades of work.
Right.
That pushing hip hop, elevating it. His resume is so decorated, so well accomplished.
Right.
And we could easily speak to, the MC, the artist, the rap artist, LL Cool J.
Right.
And matter of fact, I'm gonna just start there, right? Because, one thing that I there's a few things that stand out about LL Cool J to me as an artist. His a rap ballad.
Okay.
With
right.
I Need Love.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I was just talking to somebody about this, like LL Cool J, Mama Said Knock You Out, right? We talking about concept in music, right? That being about knocking out, the truancy, the drugs, the violence. I mean, that's like, it made me go back and listen to the song when I seen the interview,
right.
like that, and again, that's what hip hop is really all about.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and again, he's definitely one of many that is to come, because this thing, we're gonna keep this thing rocking.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
But I definitely, wanted to start with LL Cool J, man. And then from the artist, and then into film. Right. Like, you have Crush Groove. You got In Too Deep. You got In the House, right? He didn't have so much commercial success to cross over from being a rapper into being an actual actor. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I that in itself is another whole resume that he has created, and laid the platform and a blueprint for other rappers to be able to follow and see, like, yo, I could do that too.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, he's definitely influential. I mean, when you speak into all those things, that's influence. You know, that's inspiration. In so much that we got to make mention of the fact that LL Cool J, among many others, is part of the inspiration for the idea and the concept of Culture Soldier.
Right.
Him being that influence, and this is why, because he's also an influence to us, one of the many. We definitely got to highlight these things, because again, when you start to go into his resume, what are you talking about? You're talking about a strong influence where now you pave a way, right? You're a soldier, you're treading ground, you paving a way for others to come after you, to say, you know what? Yeah, you don't have to just be boxed into being an artist.
Right.
You can cross over. This is, we breaking ground here and doing things that you've never seen before.
Right.
And now it has made the genre what it is. Because now, when you look at hip hop, how influential is hip hop in movies?
Very influential.
Extremely, right?
Right.
So now, when you have guys like LL Cool J that were able to not only make the music, but then they showed up in film.
Right.
So now that genre is so influential because his demographic is going to go out there to check his movie out.
Yeah.
So he's again, just to those things that you spoke of so far, of how much he's out there. He's one of the first ones. Like you said, 1985. We talking about almost 40 years ago.
Yeah. Wow.
Almost 40 years ago, where you're an artist and going into film.
Yeah.
So that's incredible.
Yeah. And I mean, and that's something else too. Like when you do that as a rapper, as an artist,
right?
When you go ahead and you make those moves, and he wasn't the only one around that time that actually done it, but he's one of the first ones that actually, or the artists back then to actually be able to do that,
right?
And get into film.
Right.
And then to see him continue throughout his career, constantly elevate, right? And once you hip hop, like I heard Rakim say this, and it's a lot of the icons in hip hop have said it. Like hip hop is a lifestyle. You know what I mean? It becomes like who you are.
Right.
You know what I mean? And when you talk about LL Cool J, you talking about the culture.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's how much work he put in on that front line, behind the scene, in the back, audible, making the plays happen.
Right.
You know what I mean? So to be able to see some of the things that he was actually successful at doing, breaking in that ground into film, and because it's easy to say, oh, you just a rapper.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you acting, like come on.
Right.
But he actually, not only was he able to do it, but he has done it very well.
Right.
Been very successful in doing so.
Right.
And then to show, people in the neighborhoods that we come from,
right, that
this can be done, like and can completely maximize off of the talent and the ability that God blessed you with.
Right.
From rapping, MCing, the artistry, side to getting in front of a camera and actually, being in film.
Right.
And taking hip hop, him being hip hop, that film goes all over the world.
Right.
So that's him taking hip hop all over the world.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah, so it's major, man.
I mean, yeah, to speak to that too, again, one thing that you mentioned was about his ability to make that crossover music. That there's when you look at the hits that he made,
right,
early on too, that those records are not the typical, neighborhood record, something that just comes out of, maybe something that's like what you're used to hearing.
Right.
He's one of the ones to first start making these crossover records
right,
that now can be played anywhere.
Right. Everywhere.
Appreciated everywhere.
Right.
It doesn't just stay in the community, it goes worldwide.
Right.
And again, once you have a record that now can be introduced to the world, you start to really see how effective hip hop is.